Sabalenka's reaction wasn't just viral, it became the most replayed moment in tennis history. What happened courtside that day wasn't supposed to be caught on camera. A simple glance, a whispered comment, and suddenly the entire stadium held its breath. The match had shifted from competition to something personal, and what unfolded next would divide the tennis world into two camps, those defending Aryna and those calling her out. But the cameras didn't capture the full story. Here's what really happened when worlds collided in the most unexpected moment. It was January 2026 at Melbourne Park during the Australian Open, and Aryna Sabalenka was doing what she does best, dominating. Entering the tournament as the defending champion, hungry for her third consecutive title, her serve struck with speeds that made even seasoned pros flinch, and her ground strokes were surgical. She wasn't just playing tennis, she was making a statement. Yet across the net stood someone the world was just beginning to notice. Alyna, the 21-year-old from the Philippines who had fought her way through qualifying, knocked out two seeded players, and now faced one of the most intimidating forces in women's tennis on Rod Laver Arena. For Eala, this wasn't just a match, it was the moment she had been working toward since childhood, hitting balls on worn-out courts in Manila. She had someone special there with her that day. Her boyfriend, rising Filipino actor and social media influencer Mateo Ramirez, seated courtside in the players' box. Mateo had flown in specifically for this match, posting Instagram stories with captions like, "Watching greatness happen live and so proud of you, babe." While players often have family, friends, and partners courtside, nobody expected how much attention Mateo would draw, not from the crowd, not from the commentators, but from Sabalenka herself. The match began as expected. Sabalenka broke Eala's serve in the second game, her power overwhelming, while Eala countered with finesse, drop shots, and clever angles that made the crowd fall in love with the underdog. By the end of the first set, Sabalenka had taken it 6-3, but Eala had earned something even more valuable: respect. Every point she won was met with roaring applause, and Mateo was on his feet for every single one, clapping, shouting, filming on his phone, radiating unfiltered joy. Dressed in a bright yellow shirt with Eala's initials embroidered on the chest, he was impossible to miss. The broadcast cameras repeatedly zoomed in on him, capturing his energy, his excitement, and that was when it started the glances. During a changeover, Sabalenka walked back to her bench and looked toward Eala's box. It wasn't a casual glance. It was a long, deliberate stare. Her expression was unreadable, but her body language said everything. Her head tilted slightly, her jaw tightened, and for just a moment, the mask of dominance slipped. Something was clearly bothering her. Commentators noticed 2-1 joked on air that Sabalenka might be wondering who the guy in yellow was stealing all the camera time, and the other laughed it off. But viewers at home saw something more: tension, the subtle spark of a moment that would explode in ways no one could predict. As the second set began, the energy on the court shifted. This wasn't just tennis anymore. It was becoming something much bigger. What happens when a champion's focus breaks? When emotions start to outweigh the scoreboard? The answer was about to play out in real time. Eala, now finding her rhythm, held serve confidently in the opening game of the set, mixing shots and keeping Sabalenka guessing, giving the crowd a sense that the underdog might pull off the impossible. But Sabalenka wasn't rattled by the tennis itself, she was rattled by something entirely different. In the third game, as Eala prepared to serve, Mateo stood up again, and that's when Mateo didn't just clap, he shouted, loud enough for the courtside microphones to pick up. His words were in Tagalog, but the emotion was universal: pure encouragement, pure love. The cameras immediately swung toward him, and the broadcast replayed the moment within seconds. Social media erupted instantly, with clips of Mateo cheering circulating on Twitter under captions like, "Boyfriend of the Year, and this is what support looks like." That's when Sabalenka looked directly at him, not a glance this time, but a full, sustained stare. Standing at the baseline, bouncing the ball and preparing to return serve, her eyes locked onto Mateo instead of Eala. The camera captured it perfectly. Her expression wasn't anger or annoyance, it was something else entirely, something that would occupy the tennis world for the next 48 hours trying to decode. Jealousy, distraction, disgust. Nobody knew for sure, but everyone had an opinion. Eala noticed too. Her shoulders stiffened, and she glanced toward her box, then back at Sabalenka, clearly confused. She couldn't quite grasp what was happening, but she could feel the shift. The atmosphere had changed. What was supposed to be a tennis match the atmosphere was turning uncomfortable, even invasive. Sabalenka served a missile down the tee unreturnable and walked back to the baseline without celebrating. Her face a mask of stone, Yet her eyes kept drifting back to the box, back to Matteo. Each glance thickened the tension. By the next changeover, social media had erupted into chaos. Lip readers analyzed every frame, body language experts were quoted in real-time tweets, and fan pages posted side-by-side comparisons of Sabalenka's reactions. Opinions were split. Some defended her, saying she was simply locked in, the intensity of an athlete. Others criticized her, calling it unprofessional to stare down someone who wasn't even playing. But the defining moment was still to come. As Sabalenka sat on her bench with a towel over her head, she turned slightly toward the chair umpire and, just barely audible on the broadcast, muttered something. The microphones didn't catch the full sentence, only fragments. Really necessary. Courtside distraction. That was all, but it was enough to ignite speculation. Was she complaining about Matteo? Asking for him to be removed? Claiming his presence was a distraction? Commentators tried to move on, but the clip went viral within minutes. TikTok accounts added dramatic music overlays, Twitter threads dissected every possible nuance, and the tennis world watched, riveted. The interpretation frenzy continued. Instagram fan pages turned the moment into memes, and Aryna kept playing, fighting with everything she had, but now it was clear this wasn't just about tennis anymore. This could become personal, and whatever happened next would either define her as a fighter or break her completely. The world was watching, and no one was ready for what came next. On the third game of the second set, Eala was serving at 1-1, having just fought off 2 break points, and the crowd was electric. Every point she won was met with Matteo on his feet, shouting her name, cheering with unfiltered support. He wasn't trying to be a distraction. He was simply being present, exactly the partner she needed. But to Sabalenka, it was too much. As they switched sides, she walked past the umpire's chair, slowed her pace, looked up, and this time the microphones caught every word. "Can you please tell him to sit down? This is a professional match, not a circus." The words hung like a grenade in the arena. The umpire nodded slightly but didn't respond immediately. Sabalenka returned to her bench, jaw set, face hard. She wasn't backing down. The broadcast team heard it, producers reacted, and within seconds, the clip was viral. Screen recordings spread like wildfire. Within 5 minutes it was on Twitter, 10 minutes in, 500,000 views, and within 20, it was trending globally. The comment sections exploded with arguments. "She's right, he's being disrespectful. Let him support his girlfriend. Sabalenka is just losing focus. This is pure jealousy." Former players weighed in, analysts debated it live, and suddenly even casual viewers considered themselves experts on courtside etiquette. The tennis world was split, riveted, and none of them could look away. And through it all, the match continued but barely. Aya's game began to unravel in real time. Her serves missed, her ground strokes lost their precision, and she double-faulted twice in a single game. The scoreboard didn't lie. Sabalenka broke her serve repeatedly, taking the second set 6-1. The match was slipping away, and it wasn't a matter of skill, it was everything else. The pressure, the attention, the words that shouldn't have been said. When Eala sat down after losing the set, she didn't look toward her box or Matteo. She just stared at the ground, tears pooling in her eyes. The cameras captured every moment, the world watching a young woman struggle to hold herself together under impossible circumstances. This wasn't supposed to happen, this was meant to be her breakthrough, her fairy tale run. Matteo, sensing the shift, sat down, silent, no longer cheering, simply watching helplessly as the woman he loved fought a battle she couldn't win, not because she wasn't good enough, but because the match had become about something far bigger than tennis. Sabalenka, meanwhile, didn't celebrate. She played with mechanical efficiency, cold and unyielding. She had achieved what she wanted: silence, control, but at a cost. The crowd, once neutral, grew restless, uncomfortable. By the start of the third set, the narrative had shifted entirely, the spectacle no longer about sport, but about drama, tension, and human emotion. By the final set, everything had completely shifted. This wasn't about who would win, it was about what had been lost: respect, sportsmanship, the invisible line between competition and cruelty. As Sabalenka served to open the set, the internet was already writing the ending, not the one on the court, but the one that would define both players' legacies forever. When does competition cross the line into something darker? When does a champion become the villain? The answer was unfolding live, and nobody could look away. The match ended in 87 minutes. Sabalenka won 6-3, 6-1, 6-2. She shook hands with Aya at the net in a brief, cold exchange, no words, no eye contact, just protocol. She waved to the crowd, packed her bag, and left the court without a post-match interview. That alone was unusual. Champions don't skip interviews. But Sabalenka knew what awaited her: the questions, the backlash, the storm brewing since the second set, and she was right. Within an hour, the official Australian Open social media accounts were flooded, not with highlights of her dominance or praise for her technical brilliance, but with clips of the stare, the comment, the moment everything shifted. The algorithms fed the fire. TikTok videos with millions of views dissected every second of the interaction, and Twitter threads with tens of thousands of retweets debated whether Sabalenka had crossed a line. One video posted by a tennis fan account with over 200,000 followers went the fallout was nuclear. A split-screen edit went viral. On one side, Sabalenka's cold stare toward Matteo. On the other, Aya's face as she fought back tears during the changeover. The caption read, "This is what happens when ego kills the spirit of the game," and it garnered 4.3 million views in just 12 hours. Professional players weighed in. Some defended Sabalenka, with a former Wimbledon champion tweeting, "Players have the right to request focus and professionalism. Courtside behavior matters." Others pushed back hard. A recently retired American star posted, "I've had families scream their lungs out for me courtside. That's tennis. That's love." This wasn't about distraction. This was about control. The debate quickly became bigger than tennis, touching on power dynamics, gender, privilege, and respect. Every angle was analyzed, every opinion weaponized. Then Matteo spoke. He posted a single Instagram story, no caption, just a photo of Aya mid-swing, determination radiating from every pixel. The message was clear. He wasn't backing down, he hadn't done anything wrong, and he had been there to support the woman he loved. The post went viral, attracting millions of impressions, flooding comments with praise, criticism, and memes. Matteo versus Sabalenka became a trending topic. Meanwhile, Aya stayed silent. She didn't post, tweet, or release a statement. Her team said she needed time to process. But her silence only fueled the speculation. Was she angry at Sabalenka? Embarrassed by Matteo's visibility? Heartbroken that her moment had been stolen? Sports journalists churned out think pieces. Major outlets ran headlines like, "The Courtside controversy that broke tennis and when champions become bullies, the Sabalenka problem." Opinion columns debated stricter WTA rules on courtside behavior. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to the incident, and everyone had a side. Through it all, one question dominated every comment, tweet, and video reaction. What would Sabalenka say when she finally spoke? Would Sabalenka apologize? Double down? Claim she'd been misunderstood? The world waited, and with every passing hour of silence, the noise grew louder. In the age of social media, silence isn't neutral, it's a statement, and hers was deafening. Every moment is recorded, every word analyzed, every reaction turned into content. Who controls the story? The battle for the narrative had just begun. 48 hours after the match, Sabalenka finally broke her silence, not via press conference or official statement, but with a carefully crafted Instagram post. The photo showed her alone on court mid-celebration, fist clenched, and the caption read, "Tennis is a mental game. Respect the court, respect the fight. On to the next round." No apology, no acknowledgement of the controversy, no mention of Aya or Matteo, just a vague nod to professionalism wrapped in motivational language. The comments section erupted. Supporters praised her strength, critics dismissed it as a non-apology, some called it classy, others cowardly. Sponsors stayed silent. Her coach offered a bland statement about focusing on the tournament, and the WTA declined comment, noting that no official rules had been broken. Technically, Sabalenka hadn't done anything wrong. She had requested focus from the umpire, hadn't yelled, hadn't caused a scene, but the court of public opinion didn't care about technicalities. Meanwhile, Aya finally spoke. Posting a raw, unscripted video from her hotel room, exhausted but composed, she said, "I came to Melbourne to play tennis, to compete at the highest level, to represent my country. I didn't come here for drama. I didn't come here to be part of a viral moment. But I also didn't come here to be silenced. My boyfriend was supporting me. That's what people who love you do. They show up, they cheer, they believe in you when the world doesn't. If that's a distraction, maybe the problem isn't with him. Maybe it's with how we view support, how we view women being loved publicly. I lost that match, But not because of him. I lost because I let the noise get to me, and she wouldn't make that mistake again. Aya's video garnered over 6 million views in the first 24 hours, shared by major sports outlets, quoted in articles, and played on morning talk shows. The response was overwhelming. The narrative shifted. What had begun as a divisive controversy became a rallying cry. Aya wasn't just a tennis player anymore, she was a voice, a symbol of resilience, of refusing to be diminished. Matteo reposted her video with a simple caption, "Proud of you always." The tennis community split further. Some players publicly supported Aya, with a top 10 WTA star tweeting, "Let's normalize being loved loudly. Let's normalize support without shame." Others stayed silent. A few doubled down on defending Sabalenka, arguing that mental focus is sacred and players have the right to control their environment. Brands took notice, Aya's follower count skyrocketed, and sponsorship inquiries poured in. She had become more famous in 3 days than she ever had in her career, not for her backhand or her fighting spirit, but for being the underdog in a story that shouldn't have existed. Meanwhile, Sabalenka advanced through the next rounds, dominating as usual, but every post-match interview and press conference was awkward. Her responses were cold, professional, repetitive. "I'm here to play tennis. That's all." Sponsors and PR teams strategized, aware that modern sports is as much about story and perception as it is about performance. Even winning couldn't erase the shadow of the incident. 3 weeks later, the Australian Open concluded. Sabalenka had claimed her third consecutive title, losing only a single set in the tournament. Her trophy ceremony was flawless, her speech gracious, but the energy in the crowd felt different. Applause was polite, social media reactions muted, headlines focused less on her dominance and more on the controversy she never fully addressed. Aya left Melbourne empty-handed in trophies, but with something far greater: a platform, a voice, and a story people connected with. She spoke openly about the pressures facing rising stars, the double standards women endure, and what it means to be supported publicly. She became more than a player, she became a movement. Matteo remained by her side, quieter, more careful, but unwavering. He had learned the cost of visibility but had no regrets. Love, he realized, doesn't perform for cameras, it simply shows up. The tennis world moved on, as it always does, but people didn't forget. Think pieces, podcasts, and sports psychology courses revisited the incident months later, using it as a case study in mental toughness, fan behavior, and courtside etiquette. Beyond the analysis, the moment revealed a truth about modern sports. We don't just watch the game anymore, we watch emotion, conflict, and the moments when human beings crack under expectation. We claim to value sportsmanship, yet we devour drama. We say we respect athletes, yet we click on controversy. And the players? They're caught in the middle, expected to be warriors on the court and role models off it, vulnerable but not too vulnerable, strong but not intimidating, competitive but not cold. Perfection is impossible, and when they falter, when they show humanity that makes us uncomfortable, forgiveness is scarce. Sabalenka will always be remembered as a champion, 3 Australian Open titles, a serve that could intimidate any opponent, and a competitor who never backed down. But she will also be remembered for that moment. The stare, the words, the way she made a young player feel small on the biggest stage of her life. Legacy isn't just about what you win, it's about how you win and who you hurt along the way. Aya will be remembered too, not just as the underdog who lost, but as the woman who refused to be silent, who stood up for her right to be supported, and who turned a moment of pain into a platform for change. Her career is just beginning, and whether or not she ever wins a Grand Slam, she's already claimed something more valuable: respect. Because at the end of the day, tennis is just a game, but the way we treat each other, the way we show up for the people we love, and the way we handle power when we have it is what lasts. And that is what people remember. The question lingers, unresolved. Was Sabalenka wrong to demand focus, or was she simply doing what champions do, controlling her environment, eliminating distractions, protecting her mental space? And if she was right, why does it still feel like something was lost that day? Why does victory feel hollow when it comes at the cost of someone else's dignity? Perhaps there is no definitive answer. Perhaps the game isn't black and white, but every shade of gray played out under bright lights, dissected by millions, and never fully understood by anyone who wasn't standing on that court, feeling the weight of the moment, making impossible choices in real time. What we do know is this: tennis will continue. Champions will rise and fall, underdogs will fight, cameras will capture every glance, every word, every emotion, and we will keep watching, debating, choosing sides. Because the game we are really playing isn't on the court, it's in the comments, in our hearts, where we decide what we value, who we defend, and what kind of world we want to build, one courtside moment at a time. That match wasn't just tennis. It was a mirror held up to all of us, a reminder that athletes are human, with egos, emotions, and everything in between, that champions aren't always heroes, and underdogs aren't always innocent. Sometimes, the most important battles aren't about winning, they're about how we choose to fight. The story of Sabalenka, Eala, and that viral moment will be told for years, analyzed, debated, and referenced whenever a similar situation unfolds, shaping the culture of the sport, influencing the next generation of players, and reminding us all of a fundamental truth. When you have power, how do you use it? And when you don't, how do you reclaim it?